for 31 years of marriage now, we've basically had fairly traditional gender roles, but especially in the early years, I cooked as much as she did, and we shared full-time jobs together. So I'd say they are less typical in some people, but more normal than others.
I would say it's probably fairly traditional. Probably not that much different than what I grew up with, and I would say familiar to most people.
They're not so much understood as they are just strengths and weaknesses executed by the individuals that have them. In other words, my wife takes care of the kids at night because I'm way too crabby to do it myself.
Oh, my dad was always working and never doing dishes. And my mother was always very careful not to upset my dad. So, yeah, it was very different.
Well, I grew up, for the most part, with a single mom. So, and Lisa's from a blended family. So she had a couple of different kind of familial experiences. I grew up with a single mom. So I would say just our family unit is different than what we experienced growing up.
And as far as how that differs from what I grew up with, it really is not a whole lot different. Because we actually kind of model our lives off of my family's, my parents' relationship more than anything. So I kind of just go with what I knew growing up anyway.
I think the Bible promotes a kind of patriarchal family structure, man ahead of the woman, but it also promotes a kind of a mutual love and submission, so there's a kind of tension there. But saying the Bible promotes that doesn't necessarily mean that that doesn't reflect some of the culture of the time. So I would say that the gender roles are as influenced by the Greco-Roman culture as they are by the biblical texts.
Yeah, no, I think, I would say this. I think the Bible has a lot to say about loving relationships and about how a man should act and how a woman should act.
Are you kidding me? Well, let me get my Bible out and I'll be able to...
Nope, off the top of your head. Go.
Off the top of my head. There are instances where roles are defined. I mean, all the women have babies. I mean, that's definitely a gender role, I would say. You caught me on that one. That's probably a bad question to ask at the moment. I'm drawing blanks. I guess I really hadn't thought about it in detail to be able to say, hey, this is a big deal to be able to study or to make issue.
There are surprises along the way where she tends to be doing more of the things that guys do, and I tend to not be doing more of the things that guys do. Sometimes those are surprises that we don't expect, that it just happens, maybe because of work schedules. And we seem to balance that really well. I don't know. I think over the years, there's been more of a fluidity than over time. The traditional gender roles have become more fluid, and I think that may be because of the context of our work.
I don't know that we don't have that many disagreements. And I know that sounds, again, probably odd, but we don't fight very much. We get along.
Not really. I mean, we've been married for 12 years now. And I mean, we pretty well have them defined. I'm trying to think of when we were first starting out. We never really had a discussion about that. We never really had I don't think we've ever had an argument about who does what. And we just usually mutually take care of things.
So no disagreement.
Not really.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.